Alright, what's up guys? Today I'm gonna switch up a little bit. I've been kind of testing out the Esper and it's working okay. Could make probably one or a few more changes there. So today I'm gonna swap gears and try out this deck again because I got a slightly different idea here. Um, what I wanted to try out today with this deck is to make it even more mid-rangey, I guess. Um, so to make it more mid-rangey, we're gonna need more threats to be put on board, rather than waiting until turn 4 to put threats on board. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna try out Bone Crusher. So Bone Crusher Giant's always been kind of a good mid-range card. Um, it curves really well. It turn 2 you can deal 2 damage. Turn 3 you can put a 4/3 body out, and it punishes your opponent for removing it. So I mean overall it's a good card to deal damage, to put pressure, and to clock your opponent. Um, it's not super great fighting against aggro, and I know this deck has a pretty tough time playing against aggro boards or aggro decks and swarm boards and stuff like that. And like I tested Languish out in the main, and um, it honestly didn't seem to change my percentage of winning against aggro. I either never saw it, or I just when I drew it, it was already too late, or when it just made very little impact. If I was already ahead, I was already ahead, you know. So it was there. It's like so because I'm already doing a lot of spot removal, and so by the time I get to Languish, I'm maybe removing 1 or 2 creatures with it, which doesn't really save me as much as I would like, you know. Um, Definitely, you can still play a couple of sweepers in the deck. I think. I just think in the way I've designed this deck, it's just can't really work too well with the main deck sweepers. Um, so I opt to cut them both out, and I cut an extra Croxa out. So we're gonna kind of be less reliant on our graveyard, and less reliant on seeing Croxa. So what we're hoping to do is instead see an early Bone Crusher, and then use Bone Crusher to deal with some small threats here and there to kind of spot removal on top of having fatal pushes and stuff like that, and then be able to play a threat on turn 3 rather than holding up our mana to play like a Kolaghan's or a Prismari Command, for example. I might go ahead and bump the Kolaghan's up again because I am playing a little bit more creatures, and so Kolaghan might actually be handy here to play on top of forcing our opponents to discard stuff and all that hot stuff. So Kolaghan might be playable at 3 again here, and yeah, I think we're bumping our creature counts to, was it 7? 9. So nine creature counts. So Bone Crusher here. I'm gonna try it out. Yeah. So general idea is still to kind of control the board a little bit. Ramp up, or not really ramp up, but get our land draws, set up our graveyard, hopefully get the Croxa in kind of early. Turn 3, we're gonna still kind of play a little bit of a control style here. Maybe be able to drop our Bone Crusher, start applying pressure. Turn 4 is when we're gonna make some of our bigger and more expensive plays with the Croxas and the Bolus, and hopefully that will win us the game. If that doesn't win us the game, and the game starts to drag out or starts to go into the late game and we can't finish the game, then we'll try out drop the Bolus here and start trying to out plus our opponent. So that's just the sort of main game plan of this deck. The mana base is still a little weird, but I think it's okay. We're working okay here. We're gonna try to support the 4 Drown and Lock. We do have a bunch of discard spells and stuff like that, so Drown, like before, it might be a little dead if we open with too many. But I think by playing the Bone Crusher, by having Bone Crusher here, we can not need to play Drown. We can still be able to remove stuff with Bone Crusher, because you can think of Bone Crusher as kind of a 2-mana card here. So we should be able to remove small stuff with Bone Crusher, and then worst comes to worst, we can, or best case scenario is we'll be able to use Drown to start hitting 2 CMC, 3 CMC, stuff like that, and then kind of go from there. Um, I don't know if 4 is necessary in this deck. We could even drop this down a little bit and maybe play even more Bone Crushers or more Croxas or some other threat. What I do like in this, or what I used to like in Grixis was Murderous Rider. But Murderous Rider I found to be a little too expensive to play as a form of removal. It's 3 mana. It does give you a body later, but that body is honestly only really useful to play against aggro, and even then, against aggro, sometimes that body is not enough to protect yourself. Even with lifelink, they can just sometimes just remove it, or they'll just swing with their whole board, and you're not gonna be able to survive even playing Murderous Rider as a body. And so I kind of since then kind of removed Murderous Rider from most of my decks. But I think Bone Crusher here could be pretty good. Another card we can think of is maybe Brazen Borrower. Another pretty good card there. I guess the only problem with Brazen Borrower is it's more for a sort of a temple, or maybe a more of a control style deck. And we're more of a mid-range deck, so I think Bone Crusher being able to deal potentially 6 damage to our opponent's face or something like that, with pinging him for 2, and then swinging in for another like 4 turn after or something. Same thing with the Croxas and stuff, and the Kolgans and the Prismari, just hitting our opponent's face for 2 damage. We can kind of clock them a little bit quicker with Bone Crusher rather than playing the Brazen Borrower. Brazen Borrower is definitely still a good card. It's a 3/1 body in the air, which is great. I guess it's only, and it's obviously flashable, which is also good. But I just think bouncing a card back to your opponent's hand for 2 mana is not the most powerful thing that we can do in this deck. And ideally, if you're going to bounce a permanent back to their hand, you want to be able to also maybe counter it or something when they try to reinvest all that mana. Maybe if you bounce a planeswalker or a creature or something, you want to be able to counter it. And I don't think in this deck we're going to be able to efficiently go that route with countering, because our only counter spell here is going to be Drown and Lock. Everything else is a little too narrow. Drown is the most wide one, but it's also limiting in scope, and depending on how good you are at removing your opponent's stuff and forcing him to dump stuff into the graveyard in order to get Drown up and running. In terms of the side deck, I've only changed a few cards, and I'm going to try out Ashiot again. Ashiot could be either, this card could be either Ashiot, or it could be a Gold Blanket. It doesn't really matter too much. I figure I wouldn't really need Gold Blanket because I'm already playing so many hand, I guess, discarding stuff, I guess. Like I have Inquisitions to the side, stuff like that. I mean, I could technically take out Inquisition and play Gold Blank instead. But I figured with so many hand discarding card effects, I probably can't make much use of Gold Blank as much in this deck. Ashiot is a bit expensive, but he's still kind of a cool card. He lets us self-mill, which kind of accelerates our game plan a little bit with Croxa, and maybe an early flip on the search if we need to. But yeah, I think just a 1 copy here is okay. In terms of the other stuff, I'm just gonna go ahead and shove the language back in the side and add a Ritual Soot. So language is ideally going to be there to deal with boards that and creatures that are not really buffing themselves, because there are a few decks in like elves and some weenie whites that buff themselves above the 4 toughness threshold, and that's what the Ritual Soot is for. Granted, Ritual Soot is kind of weak against indestructible stuff, where language is a little bit better. But yeah, we have just 1 of each. It could be anything else. Could have been Shadow's Verdict was the other card I was trying. I think it's Shadow's Verdict. Let me see here. Shadow's Verdict. I do like this card, but I think at 5 mana it's a little too expensive to be used in this particular deck as a board wipe. It is a blowout card against certain decks, but unfortunately it does kind of hit our graveyard too. It does hit our Crocs, and in this case it will hit our Bone Crushers and stuff like that, and removing them, and so that's not too great. Like, I don't mind if I have to use, if I need to use Languish and Soot to kind of control the board. I can easily kill. Like Soot will kill, Croxa, but it won't kill Bolus. Languish will kill Bolus, but won't kill Croxa. That sort of deal. So like I'm okay with just running one of each depending on the situation. It's kind of a situational card, and which board wipe you can choose to play. You could probably play an additional board wipe, to be honest, in the side, probably another one. The card you could probably take out would probably be Inquisition, to be honest. I don't think you will need Inquisition as much. Against blue decks, we're probably not going to be really even siding Inquisition. We're probably just going to be playing a ton of Mystic Disputes, and this card's been pretty good in this deck. It kind of acts like a full Force of Negation, I guess, because we're mainly only going to be using it against decks that counter or decks that are going to be casting Planeswalkers and stuff. And most Planeswalker or the threatening ones have a splash of blue in them, and stuff like that. So I think Dispute's a pretty good card in the side here. We're still going to keep the God Internals in the side. I actually never really been able to cast this card. Well, namely because every time I play this deck, I haven't actually seen this card, and to be able to use it effectively. But that's just a side, so let's go ahead and try a couple of games. I don't know if I want to play Historic Brawl or just a couple of just ranking. I'll probably just go with rank. The season's about to end. We got 5 days left, so I'm not really looking to climb out of Plat right now. I'm probably just gonna end up back at like Silver at the start of next season. There I'll probably for sure climb up to Plat. For me that's an easy climb from going from Bronze to Plat. It's been kind of an easy grind because you usually get 2 rank nubs to climb, and I'm usually pretty good at that. But yeah, going from Silver to Diamond and Diamond to Mythic takes a lot longer. It takes a good deck that has at least a 60 to 70% win rate. And so, yeah, I think I don't think any deck I'm playing right now currently has that type of win rate that can take me to an easy diamond per se. We're just gonna shock ourselves here and consider early. We do have Bone Crusher, which is nice, but our opponent's not really playing anything that I guess we would need. I guess we can just draw this. Counter spell, sure. Set this up for the Expressive. Hopefully they'll play something we can remove. So here, if they're not going to do anything, we're going to go ahead and just play the Bone, and they're going to have to deal with it, or they're just going to die here. Probably. Yeah, they're flooding out, so that's good for us here. Let's attack first. I'll go ahead and express it, see what we get. All pretty decent card, honestly, and I think I can play all 3 of them. Add this, put the Bone down, and grab this since we can actually play that here. Let's see what's in their hand first. Johnny. I guess an Angel would be the most annoying to deal with. They don't have any cards in the graveyard. We're not going to take the Helioid, because I mean he has 2 of them, it's going to be kind of pointless. We could just take the creatures. We do have, yeah, I think taking the creatures so he doesn't have anything to do would be good here. Let's fetch for a blue. Let's go ahead and consider. I don't think we need another Thoughtseize. But we could take it, because if he plays an Angel, we can Fatal, kill the Angel, Thoughtseize, get rid of a Johnny. I think it's fine to keep here, to be honest. Yeah, sure. I'll add more stuff into his graveyard so we can actually kill it with I guess it'll enable or drown unlock. But if he doesn't do anything, ooh, that's not good for him. I think we win here. I'm gonna just start make a bolus in here. Yeah, if we keep upticking with it, I don't think there's a way for him to come back. Yeah, we're already up ahead so many cards. I don't think he's gonna have any way of coming back from this. Save for some sort of infinite combo or something.
My time here is finished. Started you eons ago.
I don't think that's gonna be a good enough card for him to win here. I'm gonna see what he does here. Obviously, he's probably gonna get rid of it. Okay, he's gonna get rid of that. Sure.
My intellect is without limit.
I don't think he's gonna like what I'm gonna do next. He can't cast the green card, so I might as well kill that. But he does able to play it later. That's fine. It's not a big deal here. Keep our mana open for the drown. He has enough cards for us to go ahead and counter if we need to. I'm not quite too sure what this Derb is. Yeah, it's fine. I don't really care. I'm gonna not let him gain any life. Yep, that's basically game. Yeah, so Bone Crusher was pretty good there. See, yeah, I think like that. So it clocked our opponent pretty well. Very nice. Got a bunch of my quests. Kind of putting off on playing a lot. Alright. This is cool. I think someone I knew was gonna build this as a commander. Excited for all the new vampire stuff that's coming out in the new Innistrad set. I have a couple vampire stuff myself, but not too much because I play mono black, and a lot of vampire stuff is mono black and they work pretty well. But yeah, this is a keepable hand. We have to consider, and we do still have a land, and we might be able to express it further. We have all cards that we can basically cast with our mana base eventually. He's playing a rat. Let's go ahead and see what we're gonna do here. Yeah, we don't need this for now. Gonna dig for a land. Probably won't need the second thought seize here. Set this up for a potential expressive next turn, and then I'm probably gonna Bone Crusher the rat or something. It's fine. It's fine. I think the drown is going to be a little bit better than dot seize. this a bit tapped. We can play Bone Crusher and maybe Thoughtseize. Depends. I might not need the second search. I might not need the Fatal right now. This might bite me in the back. Second here. We shall see. Maybe I should discard the Thoughtseize. Torment of Hellfire. It doesn't have enough mana for anything, but I guess this is gonna be better in the long run. Go probably hit our Expressive. I don't see why he wouldn't. That way, I guess he hits the search. Either case, that's fine with us. You're playing a pretty good matchup right now. We could start trying to clock him. Not that great, but sure. Have to stay hand. I won't need the flood. And yeah, it's probably better to put this one in the library and actually do this one. We are just gonna counter it so he doesn't see the other cards in our hand. He already knows we have to drown. Flooding out a little bit, that's fine. I guess we're gonna try to go for maximum value here. Alright. Well, I guess it's just Bone Crusher beatdown. He has enough to maybe add the Loris. It's a little slow though. Yeah, I could lose 3 life. It's not gonna matter. I'll play the Fable just in case. To use it to activate. And of course, we need to remove something. That's fine. Not gonna save him. I think he loses there, yeah. Yeah, I guess Bone Crusher's been pretty good so far. It's doing what we wanted to do. Real good, yeah. Yeah, there's no way for him to kill any of the Bone Crushers with the Blood Chief. It doesn't have the mana. I mean, Loris is not gonna do anything to save him. It's gonna be turned too late for Loris. I don't know what he can do. Ironically, we didn't see anything else but the Bone Crushers, but that was fine. Yeah. Um, I do like this card right now. Yeah, 'cause see, this would have been a Languish or something. That would have been kind of useless against this matchup. I'd rather just put a threat on board and have him deal with it. I mean, I guess he just wants to spend his clocks to BM. I mean, I don't know why he would be salty about this. I mean, he had good cards to play. He was forcing me to discard, and I was just top decking too. I know he wasn't drawing a land, but I mean, his curve is so low. I imagine he's not really playing that many lands anyways. This card is super greedy, especially in a deck like this. I mean, I don't know when you'll have that much mana to do stuff with. I mean, I drew all lands too. I played not as much lands. I played like 23 lands. Something like that? I forget. Okay, cool. So far, so good. Bone Crusher's definitely been a really well paid off card. Alright, this is gonna be a little greedy hand, but I think we can keep. We've got search if we need to really fetch a land. Got some interaction, some removal. Got another Bone Crusher. I can't decide between this type of art or just the animated art. 'Cause my entire deck is already, animated. I guess I could just go for the animated art here. Question here is, do I want Fatal Push live? Sure. Because next turn I'm probably just gonna search. If they place a creature, yeah, like that, for example, I'm just gonna fatal it. Okay, so this is gonna be our first game against a Merfolk deck with this deck. See how we do here. Okay, well, a land is a land. Do we need it though? That's the question. I think I do want at least to see a 4th copy of my land before I start going ham and start sending stuff to the grave. You know what I mean? That might have been a bad play. I mean, I could have waited, I guess. I guess he's got to decide where to combat my guy, maybe? I don't think that's that land right now. That's good. I'm gonna shock herself here. In case he has a spell pierce or something. Which he does. And I'm okay with doing a 2-for-1. Can I deal with this? What is this thing, dude? I guess I would take more damage if I don't do this one. If he plays this, how much cards? Yeah, I can get rid of both. This is what matters to me, I guess. A little greedy, but I think I'll keep this. Sure. Our land here. He's spending his mana to cast stuff. I'm just gonna 2-for-1 him again. Yeah. Still clocking us, I guess, but I can use that as removal. Maybe it's a little expensive. Not the greatest. Better than nothing, I think. I think I can use this. Cast this out. And then just pass my turn. I mean, he must attack. Guess I should have done this first. I might play into a collective company if I'm not too careful. I don't need this. I guess we can draw this. Just gonna start clocking them. Be able to create a treasure. I want to leave my mana open because I'm afraid of collected company here. About the only card that would probably kill me. I mean, I could get greedy with the search, but I mean, I don't really need to be too greedy. Okay. Here I can be greedy. Yeah. Okay, well, there you go. That's another game that we won. Deck's doing pretty well, I would say. That the Bone Crusher is definitely adding the power that we need on board, because my build was definitely lacking the power on board. I was getting control and stuff like that, but you know, removal is only so good as long as you have like threats on board or something to to do. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, why don't we try for another game here? What's that? 3 for 3 so far. Been liking the changes. We're doing okay against aggro. I mean, I would say Merfolk is a lot faster than we are, and we're doing okay against them. Just removing, gaining advantage, stuff like that. And our hands have been pretty good so far. Like, we haven't had to really mulligan. I get granted that the best of one mechanics are definitely a little bit better than, you know. I might turn one Thoughtseize here. Yeah, turn one Thoughtseize seems to always be a good move to know what we're playing against. Oh, binders, Thalia. Ooh, Thalia is rough. Definitely gonna get rid of Thalia here. I just don't have the hand to deal with Thalia at the moment. Can at least start getting my searches off here. What I don't know is what I want to do right here. I don't know if I want to play the Blood Trip. We decline it. Add it to our hand. He's gonna have to deal with. If he plays the Binder, he can only get rid of one of these cards. You know what I mean? That way we can at least have a blocker. Yeah, we don't need another bolus here. So it's gonna be a little rough here. Does he have another? Okay, that's gonna be a little annoying. Damn. I block this so it doesn't get any bigger. Yeah, he collected the company off of that. Fatal Push would be good. If I had enough mana, I would survive this. Yeah, I would be able to block, Fatal Push that, and take 4. Still survive. But unfortunately, I don't have enough mana. Alright, he got us with this one, I think. Just didn't see any of our early removal here, unfortunately. Let's have the grave, see what we draw. Bone Crusher would be good, but not quite good enough here. Yeah, he's got us. He's got us good. The ripping of the collected company off the top of his deck is what essentially got us on a flip the table for him. Because otherwise, I think we could have definitely take control of the game. Alright, yeah, another decent hand. Steamness. We might run into some sort of elf deck here. Ranger class. Let's call it this. Next turn we could fatal, or we could just expressive. Yeah, we do want this as removal. Let's go for the I guess we could defend ourselves with both the drown and the fatal, because that is gonna definitely be, I think, something we want to do here. We will want to kill the elf so we can ramp up here. Expressive would be very, very greedy, considering we're playing against a pretty fast-paced deck, and I think I wanna. Okay, gets no value out of that. That's fine. I'm gonna be taking a lot of damage. I don't think I want that right now. Oh, that's good. Let's go for a black in case we're able to flip this up. It's fine. We can kill that with Bone Crusher next turn. Ooh, he's gonna hit our... I think he made the wrong choice there, but that's fine. I think our red would be more efficient. I honestly don't know if I should play expressive. I do want to hit one of his creatures next turn. Definitely want to keep this though. Let's try it. Hard to say. I think I'm gonna try to dig for... I mean, I guess expressive gets me more cards. If I lose my red source, I might be in trouble. I can also try to flip it next turn. Let's try consider then, YOLO. Potentially flip the search, play another land. So we'll be good on land if he plays another goblin. It's gonna suck if he blows up our red land though. Let's see. Hmm. Tough choice. I think I'm gonna save the fatal for this. Just go ahead and kill this thing then. We're gonna kill the bone crusher. We're gonna bone crusher that and fatal that next turn. Yeah, land to be honest, even though I would like another red source. Okay, it's decent. Maybe I should have that I should have had that I'm gonna do this first. Sure. Double fatal push that. Try to get Bolus next turn to safely do stuff.
Will resonate throughout the multiverse. Let your weak minds crumble.
We can fatal push the Visionary next turn. It's not too bad. Okay. I think we would have been okay regardless of what he did. It's a very sorry, kind of brain farted. It was a very close game, I would say. I assume he top decked the land or something he couldn't deal with the Bolus. Obviously we just had to ignore Ranger class or try to play around it as best as we could. I'm just gonna assume he was flooding out or something. I mean, he did play quite a lot of land, and he did rip a collected company on us. Good thing that he wasn't able to pump up the Rager here. He made a mistake of not getting rid of my red land. I mean, I could have gotten it with the mountain and stuff that I was drawing off of. But it allowed me to do the Bone Crusher, but he Fire Prophecy himself. So I don't think that mattered too much. But I wanted to double Fatal Push to spend that black mana that I had saved up. And then to clear it away to make sure I can get value off of Bolus and safely cast it next turn and protect it again. Because if I didn't double Fatal Push the burning emissaries, then he could have potentially attacked me for 4 damage to my Bolus, or even deal a little bit more and get rid of it. This way, if I spent all my black, killed both of his burning tree, that way I wouldn't have to deal with potentially a 2/2 Visionary next turn, and that was fine with me. I can actually deal with that. Yeah, but I couldn't deal with anything else. Maybe if he played Questing Beast, but Questing Beast I haven't seen played in forever, so I think we're okay against that. Consider probably would have drawn something else. I wish it would show me my library or what I would have drawn. But yeah, I mean, I was a little worried, but I mean the search did well in getting cards that we needed when we needed it for the most part. I just wanted to block with the bolas because I don't think I could have gotten rid of that goblin otherwise effectively. And I mean, I could have just taken the 4 damage, but he would have gotten bigger and bigger anyways. So I was like, okay, let's just kill it now. Let's block for it. I would have rather blocked with the emissary or trump block with the bolus and then be able to have revolt up again. But looking at the board state and looking what I had in my hand, I could have easily dealt with his board without knowing that he could have ripped a collective company. So I wasn't expecting the collective company to come out so soon after doing that. But that was fine. We were able to maintain control and didn't necessarily need the board wipes. Even though he was flooding the board, we were able to kind of deal with it. Good thing that we did draw, 3 fatal pushes. So that, or 4 actually, was able to play 3 this game. Drown, where we were able to defend ourselves with the drown, and then bone crusher. So yeah, we had a lot of spot removal. So I'm liking where the deck is going right now. It's pretty good in best of 1, I would say. Positioned pretty well against a lot of swarmy boards that we've been playing, swarmy decks we're playing against. Except for the mono white deck, unfortunately, they just ripped a really good collective against us, and I couldn't really deal with that. But I think if they didn't rip that collective company, I would have been able to come back from that game and take control. But yeah, I couldn't get my fatals in time to kind of deal with his board. If I had 1 additional mana that one game, I could have blocked and then fatal and be left with 2 life and potentially still come out on top. But it is what it is. But yeah, I think I played what 5 games today with a 80% win rate or so. I would say that was pretty good so far. Good change to the deck. Take a sip of water there. Yeah, so I like it. I definitely like the bone crushers. I think they added good value, good synergy with the deck. It's a single red, and so that's good. We can do something with our single red mana sometimes that we have open. So yeah, dealing 2 damage, being able to put a 3/3 or 4/3 body, threatening our opponents with, that is pretty good enough. And then to back that up, Croxa and Thinkabolas, we weren't able to cast Croxa this entire game at all, and we never saw him. I guess we never cared. He's kind of a backup plan anyways. I think I cast him 1 game just to get rid of cards in my opponent's hand, but never actually escaped him. So we'd cast Bolus a few times. We cast both Bolus once or twice. We casted this multiple times. So there's merit to play 4 of him, but I think 4 might be too much. 4 might get a little cloggy. I never liked 4 unless I really wanted to see him all the time, every time. Like I always want to see Thoughtseize. I always want to open up with a Fatal or Consider. I always want to get my mid-game threat, which is Nicobolus. So 4 Bone Crusher might be much, but I mean that's up to you. You can play 4. You can probably even cut down and drown and play a 4th copy of Bolus. That would be fine. Drown is my main spot removal, my main counter spell, and the fact that I wanted Drown is a good payoff when I do get Croxa, Nicobolus, and the Thoughtseizes. When they all work together, Drown becomes a very, very powerful card, and not many decks were able to deal with a card that can both remove and counterspell. It's very flexible. Expressive was good. A couple of times I did cast it. It got me the lands I needed. Got me some of the card advantage and pushed me a little bit ahead. And that's all we can really ask for from a draw card. And this card is definitely I would say one of the best draw cards in the game. 2 mana to scry 3 and play what you need is fantastic. Yeah, and even at worst it's a 1 mana 1 mana, well I guess a 2 mana brainstorm, I guess. Well, not really 2 mana brainstorm, but like a 2 mana opt, I guess, at worst, you know. So that's fine, you know. It's good. It would be broken if it was instant speed, though. This thing would be absolutely dominating if this was an instant speed card. But again, you know, I don't know if you would really want to cast this at instant speed, especially with the card you exile. Usually it's a land, but yeah, if you don't exile land, or if you exile like a consider or something, then great. If not, then it's gonna kind of suck. But yeah, I think our curve is pretty good. It looks like a beautiful bell here. Granted, I guess you would play this in the 3 mana slot and this in the 2 mana slots, but it doesn't really change too much. I think we have good 2 mana slots, good 3 mana slots. I think Search for Ensconce really did pay really well off in all the games. I saw it in most of my opening hands. It did its job, kind of filtered through my lands and my cards and draw me what I needed. It didn't really pay off against the white deck because, you know, I kind of died before it could pay off. But every other matchup we had Search out, it was fantastic. A couple of times our opponents thought sees us, they got rid of the Search, which is fine. You know, like I dumped the other one, and they got rid of the Search. I didn't really need it, and it's kind of technically a ramp card too. A really crappy ramp card, but it does ramp us up at 1 mana if you think about it after a couple of turns, which is nice sometimes. It does help accelerate our game plan. Colgate was definitely great. I think I'm with this build. I don't need that much acceleration or discarding, so I might go 3 Kolagans and 1 Pismari again, because Pismari didn't do a whole lot for us this time because we have like removal like this, so I think we want to hit our opponent's hands a little bit more, and the fact that we can abuse Kolagans with the Giants again. I think I might try that. So, but we'll continue to test 2/2, see how that works. Definitely still like both cards, and yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts. Mana base was fine. We drew a bunch of shock lands and stuff like that, but we weren't really in danger most of the game. We used our health as a resource, and most of the times we weren't. Yeah, we weren't really at threat, I guess. So yeah, I think the mana base is fine. I think I'm playing 23 lands. Yeah, 23 lands seems pretty good so far. Most of the time, it seems like we open with at least a minimum of 2 lands. Caveat is that we are playing best of 1, so Wizard did optimize it to give you slightly better hands. But regardless, we were getting at least 2 lands, and we're at least getting a Search or maybe a Consider or even an Expressive. So if we see any of these in our hands, it can kind of count as a 3rd land, the Expressive, the Search, and the Consider. So we can kind of keep really greedy hands, and our mana curve for the most part is pretty low. We can play most of our decks as long as we have 2 mana. 3 mana is most ideal, and then 4 mana and up is great. We definitely want to always hit our land drops up until turn 4, and then everything else after that is going to be just kind of late game, because we could have a bolus in our hand and still have 4 mana. And still play the game just fine, because this card is meant to be cast late game anyways. It's meant to be cast when we are at the point where we are running out of resources, or we're looking for ways to close out the game. That's when you'll cast this card. Otherwise, hopefully the rest of the deck is doing its job. So yeah, I think I'll update my tapped out and stuff, and yeah, I think I can maybe try this out in best of 3 next time I play. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I don't think it was quite of a long of a stream, but yeah, see you guys next time.